This is the XTRA Sphra 360. And today we're doing a complete deep dive into what XTRA is calling the ultimate 360 camera. We'll talk about revolutionary sensor technology, the actual real-world image quality in challenging conditions, battery life, build quality, and whether or not this camera is truly an industry disruptor. Let's dive in. Let's start with what you get. Inside the box, you'll find the XTRA Sphra 360 camera itself, a USB-C to USB-C PD cable for fast charging, one 1900 milliamp hour cold-resistant battery, two transparent lens protectors, a nice carrying bag to keep everything organized, and your quick start guide, disclaimer, and warranty card. Now, one thing to note, the invisible selfie stick is sold separately and should be available around late December to early January. But here's the cool part. Thanks to the standard 1/4" 20 mount on the bottom of this camera, as well as the magnetic quick release design, this camera is compatible with accessories from Insta360, DJI, and GoPro. So right here, I mounted it on this Insta360 extended selfie stick. And as you can see here, we are good on compatibility. I love this selfie stick, by the way, because this goes up to about 10 meters and you can get some crazy range with this. You can get those shots that look like drone shots. So this accessory is one that I recommend having for sure. And of course, like I mentioned, the magnetic mounts on here, show you how easy it is to click this on. This one from DJI clips right into place and it holds securely. It's just like it was built for this camera. So the good news is if you're already invested in any of those ecosystems, you can use a lot of those existing accessories and mounts with the Sphra 360. Now let's start with what makes this camera different, starting with the sensor. It's one of the core reasons why the Sphra 360 is able to achieve that true 8K resolution. Let me explain the problem first. Most 1-inch CMOS sensors on the market are rectangular, specifically 12.8 by 9.6 millimeters in a 4:3 aspect ratio. Now, when a 360 camera uses this type of rectangular sensor, it can only capture the square area at the center to fit the circular 360-degree image. So what about all of those areas on the sides? Those are completely wasted. They don't contribute to the image at all, but they still consume power and add to the camera's size and bulk. In fact, most 360 cameras waste sensor area. Other 360 cameras are like having a whole pizza but only eating a slice from the middle. And here's the kicker, those rectangular sensors max out at about 2880 by 2880. That means most dual lens 360 cameras can only achieve 5.7K natively. Anything higher than that is just upscaled, which means you're getting lower dynamic range and worse low light performance. The XTRA Sphra 360 solves this problem with a custom 1-inch square CMOS sensor that's specifically designed for 360 imaging. They literally trimmed away the excess left and right areas found in traditional rectangular sensors. This results in a more compact design, lower power consumption, and most importantly, it captures the full 1-inch 360 image field. But here's where it gets even better. By using a square sensor, XTRA increased the usable pixel height from 3K all the way up to 4K. This allows each lens to shoot native 4K by 4K video, which means true 8K 360-degree video. That's 4K plus 4K, in addition to large 2.4 micrometer pixels. And those 2.4 micrometer pixels, that's the same size you'll find in flagship action cameras. So you're getting flagship image quality and excellent low light image quality in a 360 camera. That is a pretty big deal. To put it simply, the Sphra 360 maintains a full 1-inch image circle for 360 capture. It eliminates wasted sensor areas, which reduces power consumption, and it delivers native 8K at 30 frames per second with large 2.4 micrometer pixels. So that's the technical explanation, but what does it actually mean for your footage? First is image quality. The Sphra 360 shoots native 8K up to 50 frames per second. This sensor delivers image quality that's 77% higher than traditional rectangular sensors shooting 5.7K. The pixel density is increased by 33% both horizontally and vertically, which gives you sharper, more detailed, and more vibrant 360-degree images. You're also getting 10-bit color depth and X-Log for professional color grading, plus up to 13.5 stops of dynamic range. And the f1.9 aperture combined with those large pixels means the low light performance is on par with flagship action cameras. So I'm going to show you these claims in real-world test scenarios. So for a test of dynamic range, I'm going to shoot into the sun right here, and I'm going to point both cameras at it, and those cameras are going to be looking through some trees toward the sun. And we're going to see how these cameras handle the overexposure. So we're going to hold them both up right here, and we're going to see which one does better. So looking at these split screen results, you can see the Sphra360 definitely handles that overexposure better. There's a lot more detail there, where the highlights are obviously going to be blown out by the sun. They look really good. Now look at this tree with the sun behind it. It's obviously a very bright background and a very dark foreground. The details on that tree show much better with the Sphra360 than with the competing action camera. We're gonna slide this along a little bit and see how it adjusts to the changing light, and also note any details in the sky with those clouds. And then I also did a shadow test here on the ground. So right now we have the sun shining through some trees, and those trees are casting shadows on the ground. I wanted to show which one has more details in the shadows. So we're gonna walk in and out of sunlight here and through some of those tree shadows. So here's a comparison to show which one handles better in those shadow details. And then this is with the sun behind me, and I'm casting my own shadow here. So we're seeing how well that does with a nice blue sky in front of us here. We'll see which one looks better. So if you look at the tree shadows on the ground, the Sphra360 is pulling out significantly more detail in the shadow areas without crushing the blacks. You can see individual leaves and texture on the ground. With the competitor, those shadows are much more muddy, and you lose a lot of that fine detail. And if you check out those trees in the direct sunlight, the Sphra360 is rendering each individual leaf and branch tip with impressive clarity. The color is more vibrant, and you see the subtle variations in color tones. On the competitor, the leaves and branch tips tend to blend together more, especially at the edges of the frame. Now, low light is where the Sphra360 really shows its strength. These are the situations where those large 2.4 micrometer pixels and that f1.9 aperture really make a huge difference. I shot this at night, capturing ground textures, wall details, and signage. Look at how clean this image is. There's very minimal noise, and fine details like the texture on this brick wall are still clearly visible. Now, if you look at the competitor, you'll notice there's noticeably more noise, and those fine details start to fall apart. And check out this illuminated sign. On the Sphra360, the text is sharp and clear, even with the smaller text below. On the competitor, that smaller text is harder to read, and you're getting more noise around the edges of the letters. And here's some trees at night with some lighting from a bonfire. Probably one of the hardest things to capture in low light because of all the fine detail. The Sphra360 is holding onto that detail remarkably well. Individual trees are distinguishable, and the overall image is cleaner. The competitor shows more noise, and the trees start to blob together. So in terms of image quality, the claims are definitely backed up. The native 8K resolution, the sensor design, the large pixels, they all combine to give you noticeably better footage, especially in challenging lighting conditions. And remember, this isn't just marketing hype. This is the result of fundamentally redesigning how the sensor works in a 360 camera. But let's talk about the physical camera itself. The Sphra360 weighs just 181 grams, which actually makes it lighter than the Insta360 X5 at 200 grams. The dimensions are 61.3 millimeters long, 81 millimeters tall, and 36.3 millimeters wide. It's compact, it fits easily in your hand, and it's easy to throw in a bag to bring along. And despite its lightness, the build quality feels solid, and of course you also have those lens protectors included if you want to use them. But do keep in mind those lens protectors can affect image quality slightly, so you'll want to remove them for optimal results. I only recommend using them in scenarios where you feel like you're at a great risk for scratching or damaging your lenses. And of course, there's a touchscreen on the side for accessing settings and reviewing footage, and the button layout is intuitive. You can quickly switch between shooting modes, adjust settings, and review your clips without diving through multiple menus. Next, let's talk about battery life. This is equipped with a 1900 milliamp hour lithium-ion battery. And XTRA claims up to 100 minutes of continuous 8K 30 frames per second recording on a single charge. I tested this and I can confirm I get right around that 100-minute mark when I'm shooting 8K with the screen and Wi-Fi turned off. But here's what's really impressive, the fast charging support. If you're out surfing, fishing, or doing any outdoor activity, just over 10 minutes of charging during a break can give you up to 2 hours of shooting time. That's incredibly useful for all-day adventures where you might not have consistent access to power. And speaking of temperature, it's cold out here right now. This battery is rated for cold resistance, and the camera itself operates from -20 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. So it'll handle pretty much any environment you throw at it. Next, let's talk about the still photo capabilities, because this is another area where the Sphra360 really shines. This camera features 100 megapixel ultra high resolution panoramas at launch, with a future firmware update that will enable up to 160 megapixels through multi-frame composition. 160 megapixels is absolutely massive. The resolution on these panoramas is 15,520 by 7,760 pixels in a 2:1 aspect ratio. And look at the detail you can pull out when you zoom in. Even at this level of magnification, individual textures are still sharp. This is perfect for real estate photography, landscape work, or any situation where you want to capture every possible detail. And it's also important to note the camera uses advanced 360 HDR multi-frame imaging. What this means is it automatically takes multiple exposures and composites them together to give you a seamlessly stitched, ultra-high dynamic range 360 photo. And here's the best part, there's no complex workflow required. These are ready to use straight out of the camera. And one feature I really appreciate is the built-in 105 gigabytes of internal storage. You'll never miss a shot because you forgot your microSD card, or if your microSD card runs out of space. For transferring your footage, you've got Wi-Fi 6 and USB 3. Wi-Fi 6 is noticeably faster than Wi-Fi 5, and USB 3 gives you quick wired transfers when you want to offload large 8K files. So let's talk about some of the specialized shooting modes. First is 360 lock, which keeps your footage perfectly level, even during intense movement. And this works in both 360 mode and single lens mode. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the camera everywhere right here, and you're going to be able to see in the final output, it is locked at that 360. The video is still going to look perfectly level. This is perfect for anything like mountain biking, skiing, or hiking. You can focus on the action without having to worry about keeping the camera level. And another nice thing about the Sphra360 is you have the bullet time mode on here. I'm going to connect this here and give you a demonstration. And the bullet time mode in here goes all the way up to 6K 120. So this is going to let you swing the camera in a circle to create those dramatic matrix style slow motion shots. And you can shoot at 6K 120, or you can do 4K 240. This footage is ultra smooth and it's incredibly fun to experiment with. And as I mentioned before, you have single lens mode, which can shoot up to 5K 60 frames per second in a 16:9 aspect ratio, or 5K at 30 frames per second in a 4:3 ratio. This is great when you don't need the full 360 capability, but you still want high quality traditional video. And for action shots, there's the extreme video mode that shoots at 4K 120 frames per second. This gives you buttery smooth slow motion. All of these modes support the invisible selfie stick, so you can get these creative third-person perspectives that make 360 cameras so unique. And as I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite aspects of the Sphra360 is the broad accessory compatibility. This is huge for people already invested in action camera accessories. And I tested with several different accessories. I tested it with quite a few from Insta360, like that bullet time, the extended selfie stick, the standard selfie stick, the magnetic mounts from DJI. Everything held securely, and it appeared to be perfectly compatible. That compatibility really lowers the barrier to entry. If you're a traditional action camera user looking to step into 360, you don't have to buy an entire new accessory ecosystem. You can transition seamlessly to the Sphra360 and keep using what you already own. So let's put this all into perspective with a direct specs comparison. I'm comparing the XTRA Sphra360 against the Insta360 X5 and the DJI Osmo 360. So starting with the sensor, the Sphra360 uses a 1/1.1 inch square CMOS sensor. The X5 uses a 1/1.28 inch rectangular sensor, and the Osmo Action 360 uses a 1/1.1 inch square sensor. However, and this is important, the Sphra has a larger effective sensor area for 360 capture because of that square design we talked about earlier. For 360 panoramic video, the Sphra360 shoots 8K at 50 frames per second with a 2.4 micrometer pixel size. The X5 shoots 8K at 30 frames per second, but with only 1.2 micrometer pixels. That's half the pixel size. The Osmo Action 360 matches the Sphra360 at 8K 50 frames per second with 2.4 micrometer pixels. So in terms of resolution and pixel size, the Sphra360 and the Osmo 360 are tied, and they're both ahead of the X5. For color performance, the Sphra360 offers 10-bit color with X-Log for professional grading. The X5 only does 8-bit, and the Osmo 360 offers 10-bit with D-Log-M. So again, the Sphra360 and DJI Osmo 360 are ahead here. For still photos, the Sphra360 shoots 100 megapixel panoramas. The X5 shoots approximately 72 megapixels, and the Osmo Action 360 shoots up to 120 megapixels. So the Osmo Action 360 currently has the edge in max photo resolution, though the Sphra360's future 160 megapixel update will surpass it. Next is a big one, built-in storage. The Sphra360 has 105 gigabytes of built-in storage, the X5 has no built-in storage at all, and the Osmo 360 also has 105 gigabytes. If you're someone who doesn't want to have to deal with micro SD cards, this is a major advantage for the Sphra360 and Osmo 360. For battery life, both the Sphra360 and Osmo Action 360 offer 100 minutes of 8K 30 frames per second recording. The X5 only gets 88 minutes at 8K 30. So again, the Sphra360 and Osmo 360 are ahead. When it comes to weight and size, the Sphra360 weighs 181 grams, the X5 weighs 200 grams, and the Osmo Action 360 weighs 183 grams. So the Sphra360 is actually the lightest of the three. For connectivity, the Sphra360 has Wi-Fi 6 and USB 3. The X5 only has Wi-Fi 5 with USB 3. The Osmo Action 360 has Wi-Fi 6 and USB 3.1. So the Sphra360 and Osmo Action 360 are a bit more future-proofed. And when it comes to operating temperature, all three cameras handle similar temperature ranges. The Sphra360 and Osmo Action 360 both operate from -20 to 45 degrees Celsius. The X5 operates from -20 to 40 degrees Celsius. So to summarize, the Sphra360's main advantages are larger effective sensor area thanks to the square design, true native 8K resolution with large pixels, excellent battery life, substantial built-in storage, and broad accessory compatibility. It's lighter than the X5 and offers better image quality than both competitors in challenging lighting situations. All right, so after all of this analysis and testing, let's answer the big question. Who should buy the XTRA Sphra360? This camera is ideal for creators who want true 8K quality without any upscaling tricks. If image quality is your top priority, especially in challenging lighting situations, the Sphra360 delivers. It's perfect for low light shooters. So if you're filming events at night, outdoor adventures after sunset, or any scenario where light is limited, that large sensor with 2.4 micrometer pixels and an f1.9 aperture make a huge difference. Real estate photographers and anyone shooting immersive tours will love the 100 megapixel panoramas with HDR. The detail and dynamic range are exceptional. Action sports enthusiasts will appreciate the 100-minute battery life, the fast charging, the wide operating temperature range, and all the stabilization features like 360 lock. And if you already own GoPro, Insta360, or DJI accessories, you can use your existing mounts and you don't need to invest in new accessories. And finally, anyone who just wants flagship image quality in a 360 camera. This is genuinely competing with the best action cameras in terms of pure image quality, but you're getting it in a 360 format. So there you have it. I'm genuinely impressed with what XTRA has done here. Now I want to hear from you. Which feature of the Sphra360 are you most excited about? Is it the true 8K resolution? Is it the low light performance? Is it the 100 megapixel photos? Or is it something else? Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to learn more about how to get the best out of the XTRA Sphra360, check out this playlist right here.